All right, hello. Welcome back to the Sports Reporters who have indeed reassembled here on a Sunday morning. Just me and Andrew Hammond. Our first just duo pod on the Sports Reporters who have indeed reassembled on this Sunday morning. No Robert Silverman of the Daily Beast this week. Robert.
He hates us.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Andrew, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty good having my Sunday morning tea in my Saved by the Bell mug, which clearly means I have peaked in adulthood.
What kind of tea is it?
It is an orange tea.
Orange tea.
So
Okay.
yeah, I did some voiceover work and some narration on a project that will be discussed next week.
Okay.
And so the last 48 to 56 hours, I've just been drinking tea and housed a bottle of wine last night watching Hawaii and Vanderbilt.
There you go. Well, we'll talk some leagues here in a second, but don't forget, folks, you can watch us on YouTube. Check out the Andrew Hammond jersey. Who is that? Steelers?
This is a Iowa Hawkeyes hoodie.
Oh, wow.
It's a hoodie. So Nike came out with this, God, maybe 2012, 2013. And so a Connect at Nike was like, hey, because basically I can just look in not East Bay, but I could look at basically just look online. Ooh. And I would call the Connect. He would see if they had it. And if they did, he would be like, okay, I'd have to send some funds,
There you
and
go.
Yeah, this is an Iowa Hawkeyes hoodie. It's kind of like a jersey. It's super comfortable. I have the air on at about 70. And because I'm, just kind of letting the plants grow and stuff and, getting some fresh air. And I was like, man, because it woke up really, really cold. And I was like, I'm going to throw this hoodie on. And it's doing the job, kids.
Well, you can see that and maybe think, oh, I need an Iowa hoodie myself, a Saved by the Bell mug, a CBS Sports banner, Black Lives Matter banner, all kinds of good options for you guys that you can go get.
Yeah, I figured, if you can't take anything from and the Mighty Ducks poster.
Oh, that's clutch. Yeah, hidden in the back.
Yeah. So
there you go. People forget the inspiration behind the Amazon Thursday Night Football new theme. I'm glad I'm not alone because when I played it, have you heard it?
Oh, it's a banger.
But it's D2. That's what it is. It's the D2 Mighty Ducks.
Nah,
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but it's a banger.
It's good.
I was listening to it last night. Also, can we talk about how good the Amazon NFL broadcast is?
Yeah. I'm not surprised. It's going to be great. I'm excited for it.
They made it stand out to where you aren't thinking, it's not like the typical Thursday night, oh, hey, this is an NFL Network production, but we're just going to throw CBS or Fox or NBC attached to it. It feels organic. I enjoyed it. I know people got, people were upset about the mics and the sound. I'm like, you know how many preseason games that happens with? But, it's the internet in 2022. People are going to complain.
I mean, it's just a really good broadcast group. I think you got Tony Gonzalez, Carissa Thompson on pre and halftime.
With Ryan Fitzpatrick.
And Richard Sherman, right?
And Richard Sherman, I believe this is his first time. I know he's done guest spots for, pregame shows and stuff, but this is his first time being a part of as basically essentially a regular. That group works. So I don't know how many, how much boot camp they went through together in, broadcast boot camp but
Mm,
they sound so good together, and the chemistry is there.
mm,
Uh, Nobody's overwhelming the set, like you have on some shows.
mm.
So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the broadcast. Al Michaels, just I mean, the fact that Al Michaels pulls you in for a pregame show or a preseason game, and you're just like, yeah, I'll listen to because with most preseason games, you're just like, okay, I'll watch maybe a quarter, check back in later on. I had that thing going for 3 quarters.
Mm.
Like, this is
I feel like
good.
this is gonna lead to, like, Kirk enjoying the NFL too much, where he's just like, "I'm gonna go ahead and leave full time and just
I
do the
don't
NFL thing."
know. I don't know about that, man.
As it's getting bigger, like, with the way college is moving, I don't know, I just feel like it's not sustainable to do both. I don't to cover as much as he has to cover each and every week, I'm not sure it's sustainable.
I think ESPN, and I wonder because I don't know if it was a rumor or if it was approached,
Mhm,
but the idea of Fowler and Herb Street doing the Saturday night game and then doing Monday Night Football. Um,
mm,
but yeah, no, Herb Street's schedule. I think I talked about it on here, where basically he's going from Wednesday night. He's going to be flying into the Thursday night site. Does the game on Thursday.
that's wild.
Then we'll probably take a red eye or fly out that night to or early that morning for Friday morning to go to the college game day site.
Mm,
Finish game day, then go home for like a day or two, and then do the Bristol hits for especially once the college football playoff rankings come out.
mm,
That's when the fun begins because it's Tuesday, you're doing that. Then Wednesday, you fly to the site.
mm.
Thursday, you do the game. So, like, when November hits, that man's going to have like 2 days of just like, I can stay home. He's basically a WWE wrestler right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I just don't think that's sustainable long term, and I think he'll end up having to choose, and I think he's gonna pick the NFL. That's my guess, here on the podcast. I'll guess, but I just think the Amazon
I
production, the
don't know,
team,
man.
is gonna be great. Like, it is going to be, a fantastic I think it's gonna make the jump to number 2 behind NBC. I think we're gonna see Amazon get the number 2 games. Monday Night Football, they're throwing their best shot with Aikman
Well,
and Joe, but I don't know.
Monday Night Football, ESPN realized, oh, we have arguably the most successful sports night brand or whatever you want to call it in professional sports. We should act like it. In terms of what they're doing in terms of the game quality and the broadcast crew.
Yeah. I just
Plus,
feel like the ship sailed. Sunday Night Football just has it on lock. I just don't know
eh,
what you're gonna have to do to wrestle it away from
well,
them.
here's I don't think wrestling get away at this point.
Yeah.
Is I think that you're basically, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Mm,
Like it's apples and oranges, whatever, insert whatever metaphor. The thing with ESPN, once they get a Super Bowl, once ESPN/ABC gets a Super Bowl,
yeah.
that's when you'll see that happen. I think for Amazon, the thing that I'm excited the most is if you can, because I think I think you're correct in terms of Amazon being a viable competitor and not just an extension of another league's network. If I'm Amazon, I would sit there and approach the Big 12 and the Pac 12. If if you guys are going to move forward, here's a viable home for mostly everything that you want.
Mm,
your Olympic sports can be on ESPN Plus, but if you want at least your third and fourth games, third and fourth best games on, here's a home, and it's
Mhm.
actually a viable home. So yeah, I mean, because I was thinking about watching that first quarter of San Francisco and Houston. I was like,
Mhm.
this could work. This could absolutely work because at this point, if you are going to approach a conference, you've got to have something different. Like
Mhm.
as much as I love what ESPN Plus has done for the Big 12, does it stand out? No.
Yeah.
And you're lost in the shuffle. You're basically, and I made the joke, but it's accurate. You're Jan Brady. You're
Mhm.
in the house, but I've got the SEC in one hand, I've
Mhm.
got the ACC in another, and God forbid, I still have my Pac-12 or my Big Ten relationship for another year.
Mhm.
I don't have room for the third or fourth best Big 12 game in a given week. I'll basically put you in the in the old Big East noon slot. Congratulations.
There you go. Well, don't forget, folks, you can watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/Chasemus Podcast. Like and subscribe. New episodes and new video content on the YouTube page every single day. So check us out there. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or get your podcasts. Sports Reporters, we indeed reassemble every weekend here at this time. So check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And if you do, please leave us a 5-star rating and a review. Andrew Hammond would especially appreciate that. And
And
tell
if you
him
don't, I will hunt you down.
there you go. See, Andrew Hammond has spoken.
I will hunt
Um,
you down and I will beat you down with an almanac. Actually, that's maybe a bit too threatening. I'm sorry. I won't do that.
yeah,
I'll probably just like read from an almanac. I'll just
yeah.
flip a page open and just read 1987.
Hmm.
What a year.
And then
Yes,
go from
they
there.
would hate that.
Yeah. But I wouldn't. I was born in 91, so I don't know. There's a lot for me to learn about 87. Andrew Hammond. First thing though, week 0 is in the books here in the college football season. I will say for the folks who are like, "College football's back this weekend," it's like, well, it was kind of back. It was kind of back. It was back for about 3 hours. Like Illinois and what they did against Wyoming, that was expected. Wyoming just doesn't beat Power 5 teams. I went 3-0 on the weekend. I think I took Vanderbilt to win and cover. I think I took Illinois to win and cover, and then Northwestern to win outright. Because Andrew, why are people still betting on Scott Frost? Like I was doing this in the college football show here on the program a few days ago, where if you just go through college football programs now, if you don't have it figured out by year 3 at the latest, year 2 is usually when you make the jump. Most coaches don't flip it. Like year 5 is not when the light bulb goes off and it's like, well, we haven't gone to a bowl game in 5 years now. So maybe it's the year 6 that things can start to go in the right direction. And you go back through Nebraska's history and it's like Bo Pelini, year 2. You go Mike Riley, year 2. You go up and down the list and you're like, I just don't think this is going to happen. Like
Wait a
we
minute.
keep doing this and they're worse this year than I think they were last year. I thought I was taking crazy pills. The people who are like 9 wins for Nebraska. I'm like, what what more do you have to see from the Scott Frost era where you're like, it's just not going to happen. The one score loss. The man kicked an onside kick up 2 scores midway through the third quarter. The Northwestern Wildcats recover it, obviously, and the rest is history, Andrew. I mean, just poor Nebraska fans, man.
No, no, I have no sympathy for them.
Oh,
I'm a born and raised Kansan who had to deal with the stupid option, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, the option's so great." No, just stuff 8 in the box, and there you go. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm very, very excited to talk about the downfall of Nebraska.
oof.
Here's the problem with everything. Yes, we are in an age in college football where no longer you can go 4 or 5 years. They'll give you a 4 or 5 year contract,
Mm.
But that's just a, hey, can you make it to 4 or 5 years?
Mm.
The problem with a place like Nebraska is you need to have a come to Jesus meeting. And I tweeted this out on Saturday. This is a program that has needed a long overdue come to Jesus meeting because you're already talking about getting rid of Scott Frost.
Mm.
You hired Bill Callahan after Frank Solich because you thought we need to shift the way we do things around here. You hire a pro style coach, doesn't work out. You hire a pro style coach that had never or rarely or hadn't been in the college game in a while. And this is when the shift was happening from about like maybe 2006 to 2007 to the present, where it truly became a year-round thing. Bill Callahan is done in what, 07, 08, something like that. Bo Pelini takes over. Bo Pelini gives that program success, some cachet. You aren't back to winning. You're in the conference championship games, but you aren't winning. You aren't winning them, and you aren't going to New Year's Six bowls or the prestige bowls that you've always been accustomed to. Then it's like, oh, maybe he's just too mean. We need to hire a nice guy. Let's
Mm.
hire Mike Riley. Okay, Mike Riley is a solid coach. Here's the problem with Mike Riley.
Oh no.
You're basically getting a nicer version of Bo Pelini with arguably in terms of results.
Mm.
You're taking a step back in results on the field for a nice guy. Now you go to the route of, let's go get the prodigal son. Let's go get Scott Frost. Scott
Mm.
Frost has done pretty damn well for himself. Assistant, offensive coordinator, assistant head coach at Oregon, tons of success there. Then goes to Central Florida, undefeated season, does everything, checks off all the boxes for you. Now he goes to Nebraska in a spot in the Big Ten where the Big Ten is very difficult. One, because you're in the same recruiting footprint as all these other schools. In terms of national recruiting, everybody has caught up to you over the last 20, 25 years. You no longer have the ability to walk in the same special gift that you had to walk into the door in California and New Jersey. There's 30 to 40 other schools that can do the same thing. So there's nothing special about you anymore. What Nebraska needs to do, and whether you have Scott Frost a part of this plan or not,
Mm.
you need to come up with a 5-year plan, or at least 4 to 5 years. If you think you can do it in 3, God bless you. You've got to figure out, how are we going to compete not only in our conference, but in the nation? Because everything that you've done, you're getting rid of coach left and right and all this. What's the common denominator? Administration and coaching staff not in alignment.
Mm.
And if you see every program in the country that has some type of success, you will see some type of alignment. You may not like how that alignment works, but the alignment is there. And the
So it sounds
problem,
like you want Trev Albers, the new AD, a great linebacker in Lincoln in the 90s, to go out and get another great linebacker in the 90s, Pat Fitzgerald, next Nebraska head coach. Who says no?
Pat
That is
Fitzgerald would say
alignment,
no.
sir.
Pat Fitzgerald would say no.
Yeah, he would.
Because here's the problem with that job. It's been such a Nebraska fans are still living in the past. So when people say, "Oh, they need to bring in, Ken Niumatalolo or Jamie Chadwell run the triple," no,
Oh,
no.
Jamie Chadwell would be fun.
Jamie Chadwell would be fun at
That's my
Nebraska,
guy. Yeah.
but the problem is you have a culture
Mhm.
problem there, and it's been there. So, okay, because I was thinking about this yesterday. The moment in 2007 when Kansas State or when KU played Nebraska, KU had that Cinderella season. They beat the out of Nebraska
Mm.
and they ran them off the field. They made Nebraska look like an FCS school that is just trying to survive.
Mm.
At that point, that should have been the moment where everybody who is associated with Nebraska football, the important people. I'm not talking about the people that are living in Omaha calling in and talking about, as a season ticket holder, I just don't think I can do this anymore with the Huskers. No, we don't want to hear from you. We hear from you enough. That's probably why
Mhm.
we're here. Uh, every important person that's a part of Nebraska football should have come together because you are Nebraska and you're getting your ass kicked by Kansas in the most embarrassing way possible. Like, you should realize who the F you are. Every program has done this. Every
Mm.
program has had to have these moments. Notre Dame had these moments. LSU had these moments. Tennessee had these moments. Nebraska thinks that they are immune to the come to Jesus meeting. Folks, you aren't. You need to figure out what you want to do, what you want to be, and take the steps towards it. Because if you're just going to be bringing in coach after coach, everybody's going to see the entire operation as toxic.
I am so curious where they go because this is it for Scott Frost. I think there's no way they bounce back from this. They're not going bowling. They're not going 6-6 because you look at the schedule.
Oh no, the schedule sucks.
Yeah, I just don't see the path for them to get out of this. Casey Thompson, some real tough turnovers, and your alma mater. I picked Kansas State to go to the Big 12 title game this year. Like I'm
I
all
think
in on the Kleiman era with
I think well
Adrian's revenge tour, man.
also if I'm Nebraska,
Mm.
I'm absolutely making the call to Manhattan.
I think he's good there though. He seems like there's an alignment there. I think he's like,
There is.
yeah,
There is.
it's a little
But
apple.
if if I'm Nebraska, I'm making the call.
Yeah,
It's
Craig
on
Ball is someone I
climate.
call probably at Wyoming. Successful there for a long.
Maybe, but
South Dakota State's head coach.
I feel like
The next one.
I feel like Craig Bowl.
Mm.
It's kind of like with Seth, with the coach at North Texas,
Mm.
Seth Luttrell,
Mm.
where Seth Luttrell was the hot name 3 or 4 years ago. Now all of a sudden,
Maybe
the bloom is off the rose, and you're just kind of like,
What's
eh.
UTSA's? Is it Jeff Traylor? What is his
Yeah, Jeff
name?
Traylor.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about. I feel I want Jeff Traylor to be at UTSA because
Mm.
especially in the NFL and maybe college basketball a little bit, but mostly the NFL, you see a coach and you're
Mm.
just like, you don't want him to take that job because of the atmosphere that's there,
Mm.
the atmosphere he would be walking into. Because there's just some places that are just absolute school bus fires.
Mm.
And you don't want a guy like, perfect example, Arizona State. Like, I think about Todd Graham at Arizona State. Place was a mess. He
Mm.
goes to Hawaii. he makes that a mess. You're just like, no, 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 no. But then, Timmy Chang comes in, and you understand with Timmy at Hawaii, this is going to take a while. But one, he's played there. He understands the culture. He is not just a guy who's running out the string. If things go right, there may be an opportunity where he does end up going, somewhere else, but it's not one of those where he's just going to run off just to run off.
We'll see what happens. Still a lot of season to come, but man, just not the way you want to start things off.
No, but it's Nebraska, so I enjoy it. But shout out to you for the K-State pick. I'm not ready to pull that pick off.
If you're gonna do it, this is the year. Oklahoma's down, Texas, bunch of
Is
injuries, new
Oklahoma
quarter.
down though?
I think people are just penciling in. I mean, I think they're probably like 8-4, 9-3. I don't think they're going to be the 11-1, 12-0 juggernaut right away.
It's gonna take 8 or 9 wins. I would say at minimum 7 to get into the conversation of the Big 12 championship game. Because I
mean, remember last year, Baylor was what, the second or third fewest odds of winning the Big 12 going into next year?
Like it's going to be a 6 or 7 team race at most. Because
Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Oklahoma,
Baylor,
Texas. So that's 4.
TCU.
I don't know. I'm not throwing
once again,
I'm not doing
you can put
Chandler Morris is not going 10-2 or anything. I'm
not
doing
doing
that.
No, but this goes to my point.
Yeah,
I don't think you're going to see a 10-win team in the Big 12 this year.
Ooh.
The conference is such a bear that you could jumble 1 through 7 in any order, and yeah, you're going to go, okay, I can see that. That makes sense.
I think Baylor's right there for
still
10-2. I think they could do that. I think Baylor can win 10. I think Oklahoma can obviously win 10.
I think it's
Texas can win 10, but Texas can also win 5.
10 is possible. I just don't see the conference is too even across the board that if somebody does win 10, you're probably closer to 11, if that makes sense. If somebody wins 10 in this league, then I would assume that they're probably closer to 11, which you walk into the Big 12 title game 11-1. You might be playing for a spot in a
playoff. Andrew Hammond.
Yes.
I don't like injuries in sports.
I don't like injuries either. They suck.
But Chet Holmgren out for the year. A lot of people talking about the Pro-Am and how he got injured with the LeBron fast break and everything. Foot issue, ligament issue, having surgery, gone for the year.
The Liz Frank,
yes,
the dreaded Liz Frank injury, which I've come to learn that is like the worst thing you can get for like a foot.
7-footers. Where I'm at, and this was something when Bob and you and myself were discussing like the draft and the top 3, where I was like, I felt pretty comfortable. Like Chet was my lowest of the 3, and I would not have touched him with a 10-foot pole at number 1 if I was Orlando. And it's just, I think we have to look at bigs in this league. Like for every Joel Embiid, Joel Embiid's like the Derrick Henry for bigs now in the NFL or in the NBA for me. Yeah. Where you're like, hey, yeah, you can sometimes there are some running backs so you can just revolve the offense around and just be like, all right, we're gonna run through you and this is how it's gonna go. But by and large, you shouldn't invest in bigs to build around. Like that, you can find a big, like most bigs are going to be like the Clint Capella types, and that's just kind of where we're at. And you should, like, the injuries are just part of this. Kristaps, you go up and down the list of just
Embiid himself.
Yeah,
like you think about the first 3 years of Joel Embiid's career, and it's a miracle that he is where he's at now.
I mean, look at the NBA Finals this past year, right? Like, you look at Al Horford playing a lot of important five. Like they were going small a lot. Like Robert Williams was injured in and out, and people were like, "Oh, what's going to happen without Robert Williams in the playoffs?" Like that was a big concern. They go to the finals. It was fine. They made it work. The Warriors, Kevon Looney, obviously a great player, but he's getting a lot around the five. Like you go through it, James Wiseman has basically not played at all for them. Another big who you invested in the lottery early on, who has just dealt with injury after injury. Jaren Jackson Jr., another all-world talent, another injury that he's now not going to play until early January, and just another point in his career where it's just he cannot play games. You look at it, I think I looked, he hasn't played anywhere close to 82 through his 4 years, and I was going through it. It's like it's an unbelievable number total for his 4 years in the league. So that's probably over. At some point, you're just like, all right, the injuries are just adding up, and he's just not going to be the same player. And the Thunder, the thing about them though that's interesting is that like I like Chet Holmgren, but I would like him more if you're like not trying to build the boat around him. You're just like he is another supplemental piece, and if he's healthy and what he can do, great, then he'll be a really good player. But we have to operate on the assumption that he's a big, and it seems like that is just such a risky proposition because of how fast this league is and what they're asked to do at this point. It's just asking a lot for 7-footers to do what they're trying to do every day. And now they're going to be back in the lottery. They were going to be back in the lottery anyway, but now they're going
You
to be a
kind
really
of
bad.
camp. You've set up the camper.
Yes, exactly. And you look at this, and I'm like, I think this is the best thing for them because there was a lot of talk this offseason where it was like once they got Chet, they're like, all right, they got their core, Shea, Giddy, and Chet, and I'm like, that's not a core.
That's
That's
not
a.
a core. We take core, and this is my problem with
I'm glad we're on
NBA
the same
Twitter.
page here because that was something that I never understood. I'm like, no, they're still not at a
This
core.
this is the problem that I have with NBA Twitter and the new school analysis of roster building in the
Mm,
NBA. We make too much out of average players.
mm,
And look, I think what Oklahoma City did last season, I would make the case that they overachieved
mm.
because you look at that roster on paper and you're just kind of like, eh, a lot of
They only
And
won 24 games.
yeah, but at the same time, you're just like, there's good pieces there. Like there's talent there. There's guys who can make sure that you aren't completely being pile driven into the hardwood every single night.
Mm.
There's some solid guys, but in terms of a core, how many times did we hear about the bevy of draft picks that Oklahoma City has acquired, for the next 4 or 5 years? Like that can't be your core if you've got this, Ryder truck full of draft picks that is ready to be unloaded.
Mm.
You can't call that a core because the moment one of these guys starts to struggle and they hit the downside of their career, which happens more often than not, I'm assuming. Uh, you can't sit there, and especially if Oklahoma City's going to get not, I hate saying it like this, but if they get swindled, lack of a better term, in trying to keep a group of guys together that really shouldn't be there together
Mm-hmm.
because you know you can get somebody better. Yeah, that's not no.
I just they're gonna. I mean, we obviously know about Bob's favorite, the French Victor, coming over in the draft. So maybe that's the possibility. But I just I look at it and they're gonna be horrific this year. I feel bad for SGA, who I'm a big fan of, and I was encouraging the Hawks to trade for the last year and a half, but they trade for Dejounte, which is fine. So I'm excited either way. But that's fine. But they're gonna be playing Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, Josh Giddey, Shea, Trey Mann, Ty Jerome. I mean,
Lou Dort's not bad.
their big rotation is Darius Baisley, Poku, Kenrich Williams, Jeremiah Robinson, Earl's probably starting at the 5. Muscala is backing him up there. Maybe Favors gets a little bit. It's a horrific big rotation. This is going to be a bad basketball team once again. And I don't know. I think it kind of might be a blessing if they can get one more a true superstar upside guy, because I feel like they don't have that still on this roster. They have a bunch of good collective guys that you want on a contender, but they just don't have that one. And I
Yeah.
don't think Chet was it either.
You have a lot of guys who are emerging role players,
Yeah.
which okay, that's you could sneak up on somebody in a February and reel off maybe 2 or 3 straight games.
Mm.
Great. What about the other 79? Look, I think Oklahoma City. To me, it feels like Oklahoma City faces a speed bump.
Mm.
I would say an unexpected speed bump. You're driving and all of a sudden it's like, oh, damn, that okay, and they'll be fine. I do have a problem with the. I think you're going to see more programs in controlled environments because that, look, we all love the dingy court. We love that gritty vibe to it, but man,
I don't know,
that
man. He's getting hurt no matter what with the foot stuff. Like that kind of play can happen in a
yeah, oh,
summer league game.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I do think that you were going to see more cautious, things, especially with young guys. I don't think that
Mm.
you aren't going to get rid of the program. I sent out a tweet saying, "Oh well, as owners and GMs are going to get rid of the program." I don't think they're going to do that. I think you're
Mm.
going to see more restricted stuff because a lot of these guys, you see the announcement, "Oh, they're playing in the program," and I'm sure some of these people in the organization are like, "What? They're doing what?" So I think you're going to see more of at least attempts to get more control. But ballers are going to ball, as you know.
Absolutely. Ballers are gonna ball in Neyland with me in the building on Thursday night against Ball State.
Oh, they're
There's
playing Thursday.
Yeah, we own
They've
Thursday.
they
Tennessee
they.
Thursday night.
I'm kind of tired of the whole Tennessee opening on a Thursday. I
No,
I
it's
get it.
great. It's
I
great for
get it.
recruiting. It's great for eyeballs. Like no one else is playing, so everybody's watching Tennessee open up and steamroll whoever. It's good. And it gives me more opportunities on Saturday to not like I don't have to burn 3 hours on Saturday for a Tennessee nobody game, and I can watch what I want to watch right away.
And you don't have to stress out on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Well, I'm not stressing out over Ball State anyway. No offense to the Ball State Cardinals, but just not.
Jason Whitlock University.
Oh God.
I'm
Oh my God. Oh,
not looking forward to week 1, by the way, of the college football season.
it's gonna be fun. Why aren't you
No,
looking
it's
forward
not.
to it?
No, it's not.
Why?
Notre Dame's got to play Ohio State.
Yeah, you're gonna get boat race. It's not gonna
I'm
work.
not. Light went off. Hold on. No, I'm just. I'm. It's kind of like when you go to school. It's the first day of school.
Mm.
You walk into the building for the first day of school, and the first thing you hear, you don't hear hi, how was your summer? It's hey, you're gonna get your ass kicked by Ohio State. You ready for that?
Mm.
Imagine what that's been like since like January.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to hear it on basically just
But
on
that
every
helps though, because you're going
podcast.
in with like I'm expecting the blowout and I'm expecting this. So if they don't,
I am
you'll feel good.
absolutely expecting 45-17.
Oof. I mean, it's just we have no idea what to expect from Tyler Buckner. Like if Buckner's
Well,
good, changes stuff.
Buckner, he's a good change of pace quarterback. The problem that Notre Dame faces is that this is going to be if they lose, or if Ohio State shows up like the best team in the country, not named Alabama or Georgia, then yeah, it's like, guys, this was supposed to happen. But it's going to be this indictment of how it's a lazy indictment, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
of how oh Notre Dame isn't ready for prime time again. It's like look who they played. So I mean, it's just I'm not ready for the lazy analysis of people who, of casual football fans. I'm just like, oh, thank you for showing up to the party. We've known this for a few months now. Thank you, appreciate it. Um, yeah, so I'm just like, all right, let's get this over with. But no, I mean, if Ohio State starts out slow, which I don't think they will, um, I'm just like, just in the game. Just get it over with.
What's your hottest college football take for this year? What's
You
your
know I hate
number
hot
one?
takes. You know I hate hot takes.
Your number one that like you're on an island for your opinion on this.
I don't know if I'm on an island for anything.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, because I feel like, uh, I mean, if anything, I don't know if this is a hot take or not because
Mm.
he's kind of sort of doing the heavy lifting for me. Got a bug. Weird. Um, Michigan loses 4 games.
Mm.
I don't think that, but I don't think that's a hot take though
It's
because
spicy. Do you think they lose more games than Michigan State?
no, because I think Michigan State. I think Michigan State is going to go 8-4, 7-5
Okay.
because
But have you seen Michigan's schedule?
Yeah, have you seen Jim
It just
Harbaugh's
they're gonna
gonna?
walk into 10 wins. This schedule is really nice for them.
No, I'm not. I'm not buying it.
This is interesting. Michigan I don't think is gonna be Ohio State back-to-back years, but I look at the schedule. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. But like you get Colorado State at home. This Hawaii team's awful. They get them back-to-back Connecticut, so a great non-conference, right? They're not playing real football
Yeah,
until
non-con sucks.
yeah. So 3-0. Maryland at home. They'll be favored
Ooh,
on the
I
road.
don't know. I think Maryland. If I have a hot take,
Oh,
Maryland finishes third in the Big Ten East.
hold on. So then, how do you have the Big Ten East unfolding?
Ohio State,
Uh-huh.
Penn State,
Oh wow.
because people like. And once again, I don't think this is a hot take. Penn
Mm.
State was number 2 in the country when Sean Clifford goes down.
I'm not. I'm a Penn State believer. I'm okay with
I
that.
think Penn State's gonna be good. Yeah, and then let's see. Yeah, Ohio State, Penn State, Maryland, Michigan State, then what? Indiana, Rutgers. Yeah,
That's a rough season for Michigan State.
is it? Is it a rough season? I mean, yes, going from the Peach Bowl to a 7-8 win bowl, but once again, is it really a hot take? Given the fact that Kenneth Walker isn't there, we don't
Get
know if this
Broussard though in the building. Got
we,
some portal
we,
guys.
we
Yeah, they'll have a
don't.
two-headed monster there. Still got their quarterback.
The offense is great. The
Mm.
offense
The
got to
defense
play
was low
defense.
key. Like no one talked about it, but the
The
defense last
defense
year
was
was
the
horrific.
worst in the country. They had the
Yeah.
worst pass defense in the country.
Yeah.
Like if I'm a Purdue fan, I am so thankful Michigan State's defense was so bad last season. Do you know how many times we saw these guys on highlights during the draft? If there was a Purdue guy, you saw the Michigan State game.
Mm.
So, and this has always been my philosophy. You never want to be plastered on somebody's draft tape. Like it's going to happen, but you just do your best to not be the reason why a guy who was going to be a borderline Senior Bowl invite is now a 4th-round draft pick. You don't want to be that guy.
We'll see. We'll see. Andrew,
Yeah.
what can the good folks check out from you this week at the Detroit Free Press and going forward?
They can check out. It is officially football season.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if you've heard that or not.
Have you heard about this? Have you seen this?
Yeah. What? Oh Lord. What you got?
Oh, that's the dog. She's just she's woken up from her nap, and I'm trying to
Nice.
keep Khaleesi the dog happy because it's almost time for her W. And if I say the word, she's gonna hop up on this.
She's like,
call.
What's going on? I won't say the word.
Yeah, please don't.
I don't think she can hear me.
I don't know dog hearing.
Huh?
Dog hearing. Who knows? I don't know what she can hear. If she
You
can
know,
hear.
hey, her and I got ESP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the one thing that I want people to, uh, I have nothing going on this week, but
Hmm.
watch House of Dragon. I don't know if you have watched the show.
I have not yet. We're saving it for all this stuff. Like I just can't do the one at a time with this. We're gonna wait for it to finish up and then we'll hit
Okay,
it.
I'll say this. You
Mm.
remember when Game of Thrones first came out?
Hmm.
Like maybe the first 4 to 5 seasons, you had that Sunday night feeling of just,
Hmm.
man, the NFL schedule might be crap, but I got Thrones at 9 p.m. on HBO
Hmm.
or whatever time it came on. That feeling is back.
Hmm. I'm excited. That's good. You know what I'm sad about is we finished season 2 of this is our picks of the week segment. I would say Only Murders in the Building
So is
is,
that on Hulu, right?
yes,
Okay.
so delightful. It's maybe
I
my
need
favorite
to
show I've seen in
watch
a long
that.
time.
I need to watch that show
It's
because I've
so
heard some good
good.
things about it.
It's so good, Andrew. Like it has no business being as good as it is, and it could easily fall into the too silly category, but it doesn't. It knows who it is. I mean, Martin Short is just unbelievable, but
What's the best show that you can maybe like pair that off with in terms of like if you like X, you'll like this show
hmm,
because
that's a
I've
good
been trying
question.
because it gives me Community vibes.
But it's still a lot more serious than Community, so I just feel
Oh,
like
it leans in the dramedy category, but more
yes,
dramedy than comedy.
it just it has its it depends. Like the Selena stuff is mostly pretty heavy. Like everything Selena Gomez is involved with is basically heavy at the but Martin and Steve are like the comedic relief and they do a really good job of just they're just having fun and you can tell that they're friends and that this
Right.
actually is a good relationship. But it just depends on who's on the screen at the present time. But I'm trying to think who would that's tough, man. I this is tough.
Have I stumped the host?
It's like a blend between Arrested Development and True Detective.
Oh God. Yeah, I might just start that today.
Yeah, because like the mystery is legit, and the whole
Yeah.
season you're really like, I have no idea where this is
Right, right,
going,
right.
and you meet new people based on the mystery and where it's going. I would
Yeah.
say, yeah, it's probably like a blend between that and Arrested
Oh
Development.
God. I love Arrested
Yeah,
Development. And I love True Detective.
True Detective season 3 very slept on,
Yeah.
very slept on,
People talk about one,
which
but
is the best and maybe the one of the best seasons of television ever.
three
3 was
does
great.
even like two wasn't bad, but the thing
It was
about
okay.
the worst thing about two, it had to follow like
Right. If you
it
called it
was
something else, I think it's fine. Like if that was a
it's
show, I maintain if you called it something else and it wasn't under the True Detective umbrella, people were like, "Oh, that was good."
it's the I like to call it, and I came up with this week, so
Mm.
trademark, copyright, blah, 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 all that. The Bear Bryant theory.
Oh.
You don't want to be the guy to follow Bear Bryant.
Mhm.
You want to be the guy after the guy. So
And they
it
were like,
feels
"Well, what if
like
we just put 4 or 5 stars on this one?" And you're just like, "No, that's not how this is gonna work. You can't just throw a
yeah,
bunch
you
of
just
stars at it."
yeah. But
And I
yeah.
will say, love Colin Farrell though, one of my favorite all-time actors.
Oh, Colin Farrell's fantastic.
He's great. No, In Bruges, one of my all-time favorites. I
Oh,
mean, just
I haven't seen that in a minute.
it's a great movie.
Look at us being all classy.
Yes. Andrew Hammond, thank you as always. All of us, Aham Free Press on Twitter, Chase_Thomas. Of course, if you like today's episode, guess what? You can get new sports content every single day here on the Chase Thomas
Every day.
podcast on the Blue Wire Pod Network. Read me, sportsrenaissanceman.subsite.com. All kinds of written content. Friday Night Lights coverage. That's back in full bloom
Yeah,
that I've
I've
had.
seen that. It's good stuff, man.
Thanks, man. It's a lot of fun. I love being on the sidelines and I love just Friday Night Lights. It's my jam. No matter how old I get, they're just the like last on Friday. It was a winner at the last play in the end zone. I'm just right there.
Ooh,
It's fun to see like in person and just to be like right there. And it's just how much it still matters to a lot of those kids and communities and just everybody coming out. It's
that's
so
what
good.
that's what we missed during the pandemic
Yes.
for sure.
But yeah, there you go. Andrew Hammond. I greatly appreciate it. As always, email us if you want to get in touch with any of the hosts, Andrew, myself, or Bob, chasethomaspodcast@gmail.com. And of course, like and subscribe on youtube.com/chasethomaspodcast. All right. New episodes tomorrow. Andrew, thank you as always, my friend. You have a great rest of your weekend, and I
You
will talk to
too.
you very soon.